Hello. So, I'm not sure what I'll title this, but this is pretty much decks and books that I want to work with in 2022. And below should be linked a ton of free resources for tarot meanings, Thoth meanings, some maybe Tree of Life stuff, we'll see. So, just so you know, there are a ton of free resources available online that are just as good, if not better, than any of the study material that I might show. And also, if you like my nails, yes, I haven't glued them on yet. Still, they're still little glue tabs, but this set's available on my shop. They're just press-ons. Fun. Okay, so I've already started 2022 out with the Thoth Tarot. Should just call it all three. I guess there should be four to be appropriate. This is the little box I made. I mean, I'll probably redo it at some point. It turned out okay. I made it, oh, you can't see, magnetic. So let me bring this up a little bit. This is my trimmed version. I just got a pocket size. Which I'm really glad I got. 20 bucks though. 20 bucks for the pocket size. Like, I couldn't find any used or cheaper. So I kind of used some marker on the back. I had a super long phone call with my brother, so it gave me time to go in and literally sand off. Like, I used a 1000/4000 grit. I think I used the, which one's rougher, the 1000 side or 4000 side, to go in and get all the copyrights off. I'm not using this on the nails that I make, just so you know. It's just an extra one to get the copyrights off. And this has been, I've only had it for maybe a week, but it's been such a great fidget deck. Like, I keep it on my desk and just shuffle. And then kind of, yeah, the images are still pretty crisp. I really want to trim this, but it'll be so tiny. I'm not going to purchase any more. This is pretty much so I can just have it on my desk, because this does get a little bit big. So there's that. It turned out looking like it is really dirty, but that's fine. I did the edges and kind of like, I'm not sure what color that'd be. It's just from a marker set that I have that I draw with. But I like having this to have if I need to go and look at some of the images in a bigger size, which again, also, if you can get a used deck and go online and find all these pictures, like, you don't even need the deck to study the deck, to be honest. So yeah, that's how I decided to trim them. I love it. It was a great bonding project, especially with the box. They're quite large. And then I've already read this book from cover to cover. So now I am, like my last video with Tarot Ceremonial Magic, on that same site, and also on Lon's Facebook, he does a full reading of this book, which is what I'm watching now. So this is how I'm entering 2022, with more Thoth study. So I'll probably reread and go through the book some more. Going through the videos that he made is really helpful, because he does kind of discuss some things in the book a little bit further, or clarifies a few things, which has been really helpful. And like I've mentioned, Lon is really fun to listen to. He's so funny. So it's definitely going to be more of a Thoth year. It was kind of one last year also, but yay. You know, it's a extensive study type, and it's kind of fun. And that kind of goes into the deck that Lon created, which is Tarot Ceremonial Magic. I'll have that linked below. It's not necessary that you purchase it. This is more of something that I was just excited to read and purchase something else by Lon Milo Duquette, because he seems like he knows his stuff. So yeah, there's only one place you can purchase this from. Like I said, I'll put it down below if you're interested. You can also find this book on Amazon. So far from what I have read, I think, you know, I wouldn't start with something like this if you're looking for a deep dive. I mean, you might, because I should stop making recommendations because I have no idea. But I do like, you know, the Tree of Life study is so interesting and it clarifies so much. So, I mean, if it's something extra that you're wanting to look at, but this is another one I'm going to really dive into. I just got it this last week, so it's probably going to be the middle of the year that I probably dig into this. So I could have waited, but I was excited, and the shop closest to me is the one that had it, and I always like supporting these small businesses. It's been around forever, so that's, you know, part of the reason. I will probably skim it and stuff as I go, especially if I'm curious about more information about a card. Because that's kind of what I do when I do like a daily card pick, or even when I'm just playing around or picking random cards, and sometimes a card will just stand out. I'm like, I really want to know some deeper meaning on that one. I will go through all of the resources I have, including online resources, to get a well-rounded idea of even just one card. But yeah, this is something that will probably be a deeper dive. I guess I can show some of the cards. I do have a video going through those. These are the backs. It's got that green border. Still smells new. I love that smell. I wish that came in a spray. The artworks, I like the artwork. I think Lon kind of put himself in a few of the cards, and his wife Constance, which I think is cute. Because I don't know if this is really going to be a deck I read with per se. I mean, definitely a daily draw deck, or a deck that I would use for long-term reads. I think I would definitely use it for something like that. But mainly this is going to be somewhat of a study deck. Like, I think that might be his wife and him. I don't know. I was thinking about that when I was editing my walkthrough. It could be. I don't know. Yeah, like I was saying, a lot of people didn't care for the artwork. Like I said, the artwork is not why I purchased it, but I like it. I think it's pretty good. Like I said, especially for someone who's not renowned for their artwork, I think it's excellent. So yeah, I'm excited to dive deeper in that one. But that will probably be, the deeper dive will probably come the middle of this year. I do want to give a somewhat of a book recommendation. And this is Tarot Beyond the Basics by Anthony, is it Lewis or Louise? I don't know. This is something that slowed kind of my venture for different decks. And I don't know if I want to do a video on this concept, because when I first started, I can go through all the books I ever got, but I do have a couple of like books that have a little more of extensive knowledge. But my thing is like I kept getting all these like beginner decks. Well, because I like the decks, but also I thought, well, maybe this book will tell me. Maybe that next book will tell me. And I do have one that does have more extensive information. But this has really helped like curve my appetite for just buying whatever deck people are talking about, especially when they say they thought the guidebook was good, which I'm not dismissing that commentary. But what I will say is, if you're the knowledge that you have, it will never, or I guess knowledge that you have will always be more than what you'll get, you know, from just the images. And anyway, I'm just rambling. Okay. So what I like about this, and let me see if I can even find it, and I'm sure this could be even common knowledge, but it was like when I read, okay, I'm not going to be able to find it. But this is a great book. It kind of goes over just tarot in general, like the images, the different decks. It talks about the Thoth Tarot, Rider-Waite Tarot. You know, it's got elemental information, mathematical. Oh, I love this. I love that deck too. I will be, what deck is that? I think Cosmic Visions. There's too many cosmic something decks, but anyway. Yeah, it's got some mathematical information, so number correspondences. Here's some more about the Tree of Life and talking about the different Sephira or houses, Golden Dawn attributions up here. So, I don't know. I don't want to say this is a good beginner book, but also I feel like I wish I had this book first. Because I would get like a general meaning for some of the cards. And then in my head, I'm like, but why? But why? Why is that the meaning? I don't know if it's because I'm Aquarius air sign. But yeah, I think a book similar to this, and like I said, there will be resources down below that maybe I'll put in a category that kind of discusses what's in the book to kind of give you an idea. What I like about a book is everything's organized. So I think that's helpful. And so maybe I'll try to organize the resources too if I'm not lazy. But yeah, I think a book like this with some general meanings, although I don't know if this has, I can't remember if this has general, I'm sure, I think it does have general interpretations of the cards. So I just think that helps for a well-rounded idea of not only what the cards might mean in a reading, but also why they would mean that, and then also give you a better idea in your mind of what you can also say for the different cards. So that's a book that I've already read it, literally from cover to cover, but it's not really a book that you're going to benefit from reading from cover to cover. I try to, and I definitely do not completely retain any knowledge. I just know where I pretty much become a table of contents, and that's it. So definitely this one for 2022. Another deck I'm going to be diving into this year is the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Benebell Wen, of course. And I would also suggest that you go check out her discussion of this, her walkthroughs and everything on her channel, because I really enjoy what she has to say about some of the cards. She also iterates that, like, you can read this with just the little white book. And it is a pretty good book. It gives you, I guess we'll look through it. You know, she's got a little bit of information in the front. And as I think she will be coming out with this deck soon. I think if I remember correctly, she's going to kind of take a break because she's really overwhelmed with everything. So I don't know when this will be coming back, but as far as I'm aware, this will be coming back. So go ahead and sign up on her page or whatever. Her page also has a lot of free resources and her YouTube channel. So you get like the general meaning and of the cards. For the little, oh, it still smells really good. I need to go and see what kind of oil she uses, because I just love that smell. So the little white book is handy. But I have the digital or the PDF of the Book of Maps, and I'm really excited to dive into that. And I have been doing kind of like daily pulls here and there, and then I'll go to the book instead of sitting down and reading it again cover to cover, because I always try to do that, and I'll tell you what, it just does not work for me. My ADD, ADHD, whatever, just gets the better of me, and I'm literally reading the words and thinking of 50 different things at the same time, and then I have to go back and reread. So just kind of, and I do have a walkthrough of this also. There is a card, the Eight of Swords, that was the description of it in the Book of Maps was a little dark. And it did kind of, not rub me the wrong way, but it really changed how I will read that in this deck. Very shadowy. I guess yeah. Now I can't remember the name of this character. Yeah, I guess all I'll say is that, yeah, the Book of Maps is great. And then reading the story of this character and seeing yourself as the person that put this person here. It's almost like you're the oppressor of knowledge, the oppressor of change. And, you know, on the line of that. But, no, it's a good card. I loved the story and everything in the Book of Maps. So, but it did change how I might read this in this deck now that I know that I love this Hierophant card. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. I love the art. Yeah, it's a great deck. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I will probably be digging into this early this year. I've already started for most of them. So I think like I said in my walkthrough of the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So yeah, and I've pulled some cards and I really like how my brain reads with these. So yeah, that is definitely a deck that is going to be one of my main focuses this year. And these are in no particular order at all. I'm just set them all in a nice little pile and I'm grabbing them. So another deck I want to work on this year is the LGO Tarot, which I put in this little bag. I love the box. The box is definitely on display, but I really wanted to put this somewhere where it's not separated and I can just grab it. I'm sure everyone's seen this deck. Not that I haven't worked with this one. I just want to dive more. Like, I do some daily draws. I kind of, because a lot of my decks, especially when I'm having, like, if I have free time or I'm having a hard time concentrating when I'm doing school or whatever, I'll just go sit over by all my cards and just kind of grab some at random and start shuffling like a fidget and shuffling, and I'll just, you know, pull random cards, kind of like I'm just having a conversation. Like, I love doing that. And, you know, this is one, obviously, that this one's kind of hard to shuffle, but, I mean, it's shuffleable. But yeah, and just kind of grab cards and then I'll read, grab cards, then read. Just kind of like I'm resetting my brain a little bit. So I've, you know, I've definitely gone through the guidebook and the cards, but I'll just do more of a deeper dive and try to catch up on his videos. I started some, I've watched a handful of his videos. They're just, some of them are really long, which is great. I'm glad they are. I love long videos because I'm always doing stuff. And if I can just put my earphone in and listen, it is wonderful. That really helps me out because there's times I just cannot sit down. Well, there's just times I just cannot sit down, but I have other things I have to get done. So when I have a chance to kind of pop my earphone in and listen. So I want to catch up on LGO's videos where he goes over each card, and the ones that I've seen were wonderful, especially, I think the devil one was interesting. Now I want to find the devil. The devil one was interesting. I don't know how, and this is when I first got the deck. I hadn't been able to really go through it. Like, I never even noticed the snake in his ear, kind of like, you know, whispering things in your ear. So yeah, this is definitely one that I'm going to deep dive into and, you know, go through the guidebook a little bit more and watch his videos on what he has to say. Because, yeah, I'm not familiar with, you know, like animal decks or something. I guess I don't think I really connect with all that much because I'm from like a small town. And yeah, there's animals everywhere, but it's mainly deer and farm animals. So, I mean, I did live in Colorado for a short period of time, in Wyoming. So that, opened up to a few different types of animals. I mean, yeah, I've seen a cat. I've seen a cat just like that, but I don't know. Oh, and bees. Yeah, I've seen bees. Actually, there's some, I don't know what type of birds in my area, but they're like crows or ravens. I took a picture. I was going to figure out which breed was in my area. So yeah, you've seen these cards. And also go through, I love these extra little oracle type cards. These are really great. So that is one that I'm going to just deep dive more in this year. And I guess going back to the Thoth structure, I really want to explore my Tabula Mundi. How come everything's upside down? More this year. And I have a flip through on my channel for this when I first purchased it. When was that? Oh, it feels like it's been forever. I think this deck, this edition is still available. Like, I'll try to link everything below if you're interested. You can also get on the Fool's Dog on your phone. I have an Android, so on your phone, you can, for $3.99, you can get the app that includes the deck and the book. And I actually have her other deck with that book. I don't know what I did here. On the app, so I really like this book, but the first part of her book of Sachet, I think it's called for, oh, I'll put it somewhere because I just cannot think of the deck name at the moment. I'll think of it here in 2 minutes. But you can get that app, and I really love the app because you do get the book and you can read it from front to back, go through the table of contents, but also you can do a daily card draw and then read the simple meaning, or you click underneath and get the full book page for the card. So, you don't have to purchase the deck to, kind of work with it and read the book. So these are some of the cards. I love this little border. I do wish that this came in a borderless of some sort. The artwork, I'm definitely one of those people that love borderless for most things. So I get it because I won't trim this one. I've thought about getting a medium-sized one to trim, but so far this has been mainly a study deck. And I've already deep dived. Is that a word? Is that the term? I've already done a deep dive for myself on this deck, but like I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I feel like there's more I can learn from it. I don't really read for myself with this deck. Yeah, it's just like, it's a book all on its own. And maybe I would if I I don't know. I just feel like I really love using it to look at the images, read the images, it's kind of fun to pick a card, then go into the book. So the book M, Liber Mundi by M.M. Moline. Yeah, so, I guess this has some decent astrological information. That was what I liked about the other book, is I like the way the book of Sachet. How come I remember the book but not the deck? It's no, that's her new one. Her new one. Anyway, I'll put it somewhere. But the book is great. It goes over my head, and that's why I've read this from cover to cover. Oh, yeah, it came with a little bookmark. So there's still a lot of stuff. I definitely have to go back and spend some more time with some of her descriptions, explanations of the cards that she created, and the symbolism behind them, and the history behind the symbolism of what she used. There are some that are fun. Like the other day, I think I pulled the Chariot, which is fun. I guess I should have found that card. So the Chariots, you know, the surfing and the hippocampus animals. Yeah, that was great. That was my second, like, Cancer card. So I was thinking, oh no, is my mother going to call me? Not exactly, but yeah. So I've already pretty much done a deep dive, but this year it will continue into 2022 with learning more about, oh, it was upside down. Working more with this deck and the system, so for sure. Another deck I want to dive deeper into this year is the Benebell Tarot. And this is the box I made for it, which I have linked on my channel. And it's a super long, probably not very helpful video, but you know, it's there. I'm sure, okay, yeah, there's nudity in this deck. Obviously, I'm sure everybody knows right away. I love that magician. So, I mean, I love the artwork. Absolutely love the artwork. And Mary White's dedication to everything about this. I will say the cards, the cards, I don't really care too much about like card stock and stuff, but man, I feel like this is sorry, I just licked my finger. I don't even know if this will last very long. Like I haven't used it that much besides to get it out and, you know, go through the cards, read the cards. I have shuffled it a few times, I guess. Yeah, I'm not usually too worried about the card stock, but I don't know. It's really weird. It's just a weird thing. Oh, it's so pretty. I kind of have had my eye on maybe a first edition just so I can trim it and stuff. But I don't know. I have this and I'm content with that. And then some of the older cards, I remember I don't know if it went when it first came out, and I saw walkthroughs and stuff, and the original cards that were in the previous version I thought were a little funky, but now I kind of want them, but that's fine. But anyway, I'm sure I got off topic at one point. This was not really a deck I was going to get. I knew I would eventually get it, but the only reason I ended up getting it was because I noticed it was out of stock in so many places, and I was scared it was going out of print, so I jumped on it, and maybe that was a sign. Like, Amazon didn't have it, a whole bunch of places. I had to order it from, like, Walmart or something, but I don't know, maybe it was a sign. I have read a few cards. I've read quite a few cards, actually. Yeah, and I really like it. It is definitely different and wrapping my head around some stuff. Like, let me see if I can find it. And, you know, this is a deck it seems like everybody has, everyone's familiar with. I did see somebody that does live, like a live study group, and I was looking into that. So that was what made me really want to add that to my list of decks that I want to dive into this year. Well, I guess instead of finding the card, maybe I can find the... Okay, so I think this is like one of the first cards that I pulled and read, and so I think this is supposed to be like the story of Buddha. I could be wrong. Yeah. Just, yeah, the whole story about, you know, his dad not wanting to be around, like, and discovers there's so much suffering, and then he suffers, and such, yeah, it was, like, one of the first cards I pulled, read the book, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, very excited to dive into this. I know a lot of people already have, and I don't know. I don't like to get things just for aesthetic reasons if I don't think I can, not that I don't think I can use it, but I think I also had other things I was studying and everyone was saying there's kind of its own system, and I don't know what the thing was, but yeah, that is something I'm excited to dive more into because I have been going through it on occasion, you know, one card at a time. I have done some readings with it and they were very good, especially, you know, everyone likes to use it for shadow, so I kind of did that. And yeah, so I understand the hype. I wish I would have gotten it sooner, but you know, things come to you in their own time. So now there's probably going to be more things that I dive into this year, but these are the things that I'm definitely like putting aside, and I'm going to have kind of like my year will be split up into these different categories, and I have some type of idea of how I'm going to organize it. So the last deck, kind of a set that I want to dive into is the Star Tarot by Kathy McLeland. So I know this is like an older deck. Some people already had it. I remember when I saw this for pre-order, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I don't exactly know what possessed me to purchase it, but I'm really glad that I did. My little ribbon broke. I would probably be making a box for this. It's just one of those things I have to add to the list. The box is cool. I do kind of have it, you know, setting where you can see it, but I would rather make my own little box. So I love, you know, when I was younger, I really loved gilding. Now I'm getting a little bit older and it depends. Some decks do it really good. Some decks don't. This may be one that I don't completely care for it, but that's fine. It's nice. It'll protect the cards. So these are some of the cards. And maybe it was somebody's walkthrough that, since it was around the time that I was wanting to dive into the Thoth, and this has some Thoth imagery as well as Rider-Waite and more like pagan-esque imagery, which I absolutely love, especially some indigenous imagery that is so nice. Like most fairly white Americans, I have part Native American heritage. Nothing I've ever looked into, probably not enough to be significant. But yeah, so this seems like a deck that is completely well-rounded in things that I really want to incorporate, well, into one deck. It's awesome. The artwork's beautiful. I don't know. There's a lot to say about it. Like I said, very pagan-esque, very Golden Dawn or whatever, and you still have some of your traditional imagery attached. So yeah, there's a ton of walkthroughs. That's really cool. So yeah, it's some the Thoth inspired. Like it's great. It's just some, yeah. I lose my train of thought when I start looking at the cards. And this is seemingly more like indigenous type. Yeah, like Native American style, which is really nice. Especially growing up in like the 90s, like Native American decor, whether that's appropriate or not, was the thing. So I think people, especially from the 90s, depending on what type of household you grew up in, you just saw like the leather, the beads, dream catchers. There was a lady that lived in the apartment building that I did, and I wish I would have been able to spend more time with her because she taught me how to make dream catchers. Which I still kind of do every so often. I have one really cutesy over in my room. It's huge. But also she had had like that. Oh, they're so popular. Like the animal totem reading cards or the animal. I'll put a picture or something up. And she would read with those, and I always thought that was so cool. So she's very, she was, I don't know if she was a Native American. She didn't look Native American, but she might have been. I was probably like 7 to 9 years old. So, but what I really love too about this deck, see, this is why I need my own little box, is the book is wonderful. Yeah, I think watching someone's walkthrough is what made me think, oh, this would be so great. So let's see, we just pick one. So, and then another like Thoth inspired art. So you have this whole explanation, and then she breaks down some of the symbols and what those can mean. So that's great because, you know, it's hard to look at one image, and granted, you can have your own interpretations for these symbols, but as you look at one image, like, oh, I'm not really getting much from that. So it's like, okay, well, what's the first thing that you see? Oh, it's such a small picture. What's the first thing you see? Oh, maybe the snake or the chains or the dance. Oh, dancer. Didn't even know that was there. Or the heart. You know, can really add a lot of depth to a reading. So those are the majors. I think the minors get kind of the same, yeah, attention. And then you also have your astrological associations, I think that's the decans, first, yeah, the lunar cycle, some keywords. So I think this is one, I mean, I have a lot of decks that came with the book. The Tarot of the Vampires, which is another one I have that as an app also, and the book is phenomenal. But since I have all these other books, and resources for like the Kabbalah and Tree of Life and those types of things, you know, I'll probably get to that eventually. I have read through the book, but yeah, this is just I feel like a well-rounded set. And if more sets were as in-depth as this, and I don't know, was just more in depth as this, I think the sets would make more sense, because sometimes they seem like wasted space, but this is definitely a set that I would recommend to people just starting out or something or whatever. I don't know if the Fool's Dog has this as an app, so, but anyway, for me, this is something that I will definitely be diving into. I'm excited to make a box when I have time. I have school and other junk too, and diving into this book. So once this will probably be, and to be fair, this book deep dive will probably come around, I should probably do it before, because this should this should be lighter reading than the other ones. But it'll come around sometime this year. I haven't sat down and come up with an actual schedule, because I will have a loose schedule of when I will be diving into everything. That way I can actually follow some type of a pattern. But yeah, so those are the things I'm going to be deep diving into, hopefully, if I follow my little schedule, which I probably won't. But I do always return to my study resources, especially when I can just listen in, or even when I'm doing my daily draws. And that's why daily draws are kind of important. Anyway, so that's a handful of things, but 365 days, I'm already doing my Thoth deep dive for now, and then I'll kind of transition into the other ones. So hopefully that works out. If I remember, maybe next year I will refresh on how far I got, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, check out the resources down below. If you have any resources, you could list them also for people wanting to know. But anyways, thanks for watching. Take care and have a good one.